a wonderful morning to worship the Lord. This is the day. This is the day.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Inspiration for Today and our continuation of our March through Revelation. We're spending the month of March studying the book of Revelation. And today we come to the letter or the note that Jesus had John write down to the church in Philadelphia. And there's a couple of things in this portion, this letter to that church, that are just really, really significant. But let's just spend just a moment resetting where we are and why we're doing this. Now, in Revelation chapter 1 at verse 1, just to remind us, it says, the revelation of Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants what must soon take place. Now remember, this was a very difficult time in the church. It's the first century AD. And John and all the numerous other Christians were being persecuted. It was a tough time. And so Jesus appears to John while he's in exile, in fact, for his faith, for speaking the word of God. He is in exile in Patmos. And so to encourage his church, his family, Jesus gives the book of Revelation. And I think it's important to remember, this is meant to be an encouragement to you and I. In fact, in chapter 1, verse 3, it says, blessed is the one who reads the words of this prophecy, and blessed are those who hear it and take it to heart. I hope that's us. I really do. I'm trying to put it to heart. Now, as far as a little outline of the book, in chapter 1, down at verse 19, Jesus says to John, write what you have seen, and that's what we're doing, what is now, and what will take place later. Now, what we're talking about and right now through chapter 3 is what was happening right then and now. These are real letters to real churches. And so John is doing what he was told. Starting in chapter 4, and I can't wait to get there. We're going to get there on Friday, and we will begin to see what will take place later. But there's enough right in this one note for us. Plenty for today. Plenty for today. You're not going to be disappointed. So let's jump ahead. Philadelphia, by the way, another church there in what is today Turkey, but it was a prosperous area, but the church, those Christians in it, were still having to endure persecution and suffering, and not prosperous, generally speaking. Verse 7 of chapter 3. To the angel of the church in Philadelphia, write this. These are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. Just another one of Jesus's descriptions of himself. Each letter starts with a different description. I hope you're putting those together. It's a beautiful picture of who he is, but holy and true. Holy and true. That's Jesus. That's God. That's God. Then he says, kind of showing his omniscience, I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, but you have kept my word and have not denied my name. He compliments them on that. They're weak and struggling, but they've never denied his word. Gosh, that's something that we have to do, isn't it? No matter how hard things ever get for us, or even just in casual conversations, we cannot deny that we are followers of Jesus Christ. I take that very seriously, as obviously Jesus does too. And then he goes on, verse 9. I will make those who are of the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars. I'll make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. Basically, you realize that's justice. Sometimes it thinks like things aren't right. That God, why do you allow such and such to happen? Well, don't worry. The day is coming where justice will happen. And he says, since you have kept my command to endure patiently, I'll also keep you from that hour of trial that is going to come upon the whole world to test those who live on the earth. Now, that's just a preview. As we get into what's coming soon, you're going to hear a lot about what time period called the tribulation. And yet Jesus says, I'm going to keep you out of those troubles. I'm going to make things right. And you won't have to go through those things. And that's just one of the reasons that we believe we will be taken. You're going to get a lot more in the coming couple weeks on why we believe that we're not going to have to go through those most terrible of time coming to earth called the tribulation. Verse 11, he says, I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take your crown. Him who overcomes, I will make a pillar in the temple of God. Never again will he leave it. I'll write on him the name of my God and the name of the city of my God. So Jesus has great rewards for us. But here's kind of one of the important things I want you to get today. And this can be our verse for the day. But he says, the name of the city of my God, the new Jerusalem. And note what it says, which is coming down out of heaven from my God. The new Jerusalem is coming down out of heaven. Now I ask you, down to where? Down to where? You see, right now, obviously Jerusalem exists. It's already built. We can't see it. It's, I guess, in a different dimension or whatever, but it exists. He speaks of it as a real place, but it's going to come down out of heaven to earth, And when we get to the end of Revelation, we're going to see the dimensions of Jerusalem and how big it is and how far, but it's all here. You see, heaven is going to come down to earth. It's going to be a renewed earth. I encourage you to read Matthew chapter 19 at verse 28. Jesus himself speaks of a renewed earth. And it's totally new. No sin, no pain, no suffering, none of those things. It'll be earth being reborn. Now, if that's a new thought for you, may I encourage you, I did 4 days of inspiration for today just on this topic. And it was based on a book. If you want to read a book on this topic, it's All Things New by John Eldredge. But if you want to watch it on Inspiration for Today, go to YouTube. And it's season 2, episodes 37, 38, 39, and 40. Season 2, beginning with episode 37. And we fully explain this wonderful, wonderful news that this is where we're going to live. This is when we say heaven on earth, or even in the Lord's Prayer where we pray, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Yes, that day is coming. God's going to answer that prayer. And Jesus implies that just in this church to Philadelphia back 2,000 years ago. Isn't that great? I just absolutely love that. Coming down out of heaven. And I'll also write on him my new name. He who has ear to hear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. Well, tomorrow we're going to hit the last church and the last of the 7 churches. And it's got just like this, just some nuggets of just important stuff that we need to remember. And I think that will really encourage us. So until then, God bless. Have a great day in the Lord, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.
Beautiful day, it's wonderful. This is is the day that the Lord has made.